Welcome to the Market Research Podcast that earned recognition first in 2019 and again in 2020 as being named one of the very best in the marketing research field. We're proud that Research Business Report is that podcast. But we've been in business here since February 2012, providing you with the top stories of the day. And we've become known as the research industry's only daily research video blog. So enjoy this RBDR and any of our other podcasts, and please lend your support for our Research News video series. How do you do that? Look at the screen to your right, my left right now, and you can see where to go to accomplish that. I'm Bob Lederer, and I'm now in my 26th year as the respected voice in market research. Today we're going to return to Ipsos' Senior VP of Brand Health Tracking, Emmanuel Probst, who spends some of his time lecturing as a consumer market research professor teaching an MBA-level course at UCLA. His book next month is coming out. It's called Brand Hacks: How to Build Brands by Fulfilling the Consumer Quest for Meaning. In it, Probst raises several everyday subjects, everyday for people who do media research, that blanket RBDR's focus, and Emmanuel has agreed to collaborate with us on several of those points. So today we present his insights about advertising and its use of fads versus trends versus meaningful situations. Probst tells us that advertisers struggle to create campaigns because of those three and trying to make their product fit as well as it can into some or perhaps even all of them.
I'm happy to articulate the difference between a fad, a trend, and a meaning that I cover in the book. So a fad is something that makes the news but won't last, something that you can get involved with for a few weeks, maybe a few months. And a good example are diets. Most diets are fad, simply because you're not going to eat steamed broccoli for the rest of your life, right? Self-help books, most of these books are also fads. Here again, because you can follow a program for a few weeks, usually it's just not very sustainable. A trend, in contrast, is something that is likely to influence the market. It's something that's going to last longer. A trend can over time evolve into meaning, but that remains to be proven. So here an example would be CrossFit or Pilates. And those are trends because you have studios, brick and mortar businesses that opened all across the world and all across the United States. And of course, the question is this sustainable? Are people getting back to those studios? The answer, in my experience, is yes, if those studios, those gyms deliver something that's meaningful, a sense of community, a sense of belonging. A meaning is something that has deeper implication. A meaning is something that is very personal to you and influences your life and the way you see the world. And again, let me give you examples. Authenticity, for example, or nostalgia. Those are meaningful because they're deeper values that resonate with you. So an example of a brand that's meaningful or an experience that could be meaningful is Airbnb. And Airbnb does not provide you with access to a hotel room. That's not the point. Airbnb gives you access to discovery, allows you to explore the world with locals because the host is going to welcome you to the home and show you the neighborhood and show you the city. As such, Airbnb is a meaningful brand because it allows you to explore the world and to give you an authentic connection to locals, in contrast with a hotel chain that's going to deliver a functional product, and that product's a hotel room. The connection between a fad, a trend, a meaning, and this connection with advertising is, well, a fad can evolve into a trend. a brand to last over time has to be meaningful. If you want something that's going to endure the test of time, it has to be meaningful to consumers. And the connection to advertising is about creating brands that are meaningful, creating campaigns that are meaningful. And in advertising, that's about having a big idea. And what I mean by a big idea is going back to Airbnb. Airbnb is going to allow me to discover the world. That's meaningful to me. We can take an example with Equinox Health Club. Yeah, upscale health clubs at $200 a month. Here again, nobody needs Equinox to use a treadmill or an elliptical machine. You can buy those from Costco for $700 and you'll have them for a lifetime. The meaning with Equinox is to commit to something. Equinox is going to help me to commit to a lifestyle. That's their message in advertising, commit to something. That's meaningful because it has long-term implications and it's very involving for the individual, for the customer, for the member. In advertising, advertisers often try to connect to a fad or a trend. Not often enough do they connect with a meaning. This is the difference between performance and brand advertising. Now, the two should go together, but they don't always go together. In advertising, advertisers will connect to a fad to generate immediate sales or immediate actions. Yeah, it's a call to action in the lower funnel. Ideally, they would also convey a big idea, and that big idea in the context of Airbnb is the discovery. In the context of Equinox Health Club, it's the idea of commitment. So good advertising carries a meaning, and that's the big idea. That is the overarching idea for the brand. But it can also piggyback on a fad or a trend. Right now, this trend can be revenge travel. People have been on lockdown for 18 months. They're keen on traveling again. And it's totally okay to advertise towards revenge travel and encourage people to travel. Can brand create a meaning? Can brands create something new? And the answer is it happens it's very seldom. So Starbucks is an example. They did not create coffee, but they created a third place that is neither the home nor the office where you can meet people, and they created a symbol around carrying a Starbucks cup. Airbnb did not invent travel and certainly did not invent the concept of a hotel room, if you will, when you travel. Airbnb invented an offering that's meaningful to people, again, because it's more authentic, because it's more genuine. It's not so much necessarily about price. It is about price, but not only about price. That said, at the end of the day, very, very few brands invent something or come up with a new idea that is really meaningful. Most of what we see around us are products or brands or services that are being repurposed, repackaged, if you will. Again, it's very seldom to see something new. You spoke about Apple. Yes, you're right. Apple invented something meaningful in '97 with the with the Mac. And again, Apple did not invent computing. Apple did not invent the MP3 player. Apple did not invent the mouse. Apple did not invent the smartphone. So this is not about a functional invention. It's about the lifestyle and the meaning they managed to create around those technology products. I think the starting point for advertisers should be, what are people trying to achieve? Forget about the brand for a minute. What are people trying to achieve? What is meaningful to them? What is a long-term goal? What is fulfilling for consumers? From there, we build a brand and a message that's going to be meaningful, that's going to resonate with people. Again, going back to Equinox, treadmills are everywhere. You don't need to go to Equinox to run on a treadmill, let alone at $200 a month. What are people really looking for, seeking? Their need and want to commit to something. That's where Equinox is going to enable this for their members.
We'll be back with more from Emmanuel next week. But that's a wrap on today's Research Business Daily Report. We thank you for viewing this video. Each day, as you know, we're going to give you a news item, an insight, or a commentary that you're just not going to find anywhere else. And we hope that you appreciate our work enough to consider becoming a Patreon supporter of RBDR. In other words, to commit to a small, ongoing monthly contribution. Now, if that strikes you as something that you can or would be willing to do, please visit the exclusive crowdfunding platform that's been set up at patreon.com/RBDR. In the meantime, we hope you have a good research day. We'll look forward to seeing you back here with us again tomorrow, and please stay safe.